Well, hello there again, everyone here on YouTube. So we are back to another virtual painting session after a long time. So there's going to be some changes that I should talk about. So let me talk about the changes first. For those of you watching this as a pre-recorded video, the first thing is to mention that the painting sessions won't be as long as they used to be. So I'm not going to be doing 3 hours or 3.5 up to 4 hours straight as I used to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be painting for up to 2 hours. So up to 2 hours is what I'll be doing today. The reason the stream is 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time is because I need more time after the stream ends to continue working on this painting. So those of you watching this as a pre-recorded video after the stream ended, you're going to have up to 2 hours. I can't promise any more than that, but you're going to have up to 2 hours of painting footage. And I will return to finish this painting up on the next stream, which should be on a Wednesday. So that being said, not every single brushstroke of this painting will be shown due to the fact that I need more time to complete paintings than what you had seen before. Another thing to mention is the photo reference that you're seeing there. Again, I had been contemplating whether or not to put the photo reference there because I really don't like to work from photo references these days, but it is what it is. It is posted in the community section of my YouTube channel. So just go to my YouTube channel, scroll through to the community section, and then you will find the photo reference there of our model Madeline if you would like to draw or paint along with me. So everyone watching this live now, some things to talk about. I'm going to talk about the differences before I jump right into the painting. So another difference is for moderators. Moderators are only going to be selected from the live stream tier in my online classes on Patreon. So that is the new rule, is that moderators will have to be from the live stream tier in the online classes on Patreon. So that being said, that should be about everything. Now let's go ahead and actually get the painting. So I'm glad to see everyone that's here. So hello there, everyone in the online classes, and then everyone that's new. Martin, I believe that's a name that I haven't seen before, and another name I can't pronounce. I apologize. So let's get to it. I don't really have a clear order anymore or steps to how I paint. I kind of just go and paint. In the past, you've seen me do underpaintings. You've seen me do like alkyd painting in the past. This is just regular oil paint. The palette that you're seeing here, these colors are listed in the description box of this video. There's about 20 something of them, so please check the description box of the video and you will see the list of colors. I'm working on a double oil primed fine textured linen that has been toned neutral gray with oil paint, alkyd oil paint, several weeks ago. So I'm just blocking the head. This is just going to be a standard head and shoulders painting. So about yay is the size that I want for the head, so that's a decent size, and then the hair band is going to be over here. So the model Madeline is a model that I have been painting from life as well. I'm working on a large figure painting of her, so I'm kind of familiar with the proportions and with the setup, so I'm just going to keep moving from here. Another thing about the way I'm going to be doing these lessons, or not lessons, but these streams, there we go. This is not going to be a lesson. This is a virtual painting session. I'm not going to be talking as much as I was talking before. Instead, I'm just going to be painting and answering as many questions as I possibly can from the audience. Because before I was just talk from my end, and it kind of slowed me down a little bit with the painting process. Also, on a side note, Kathy, I just got an email from Brenda. Do you think, Kathy or Ingrid, if you can type or copy and paste the link into our emails that we have together, so Brenda can find the link? Okay, so her shoulder is raised a little bit here. Hello there, Ispita Roy. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Let's see. I was having a bad study day, so I closed my studio session and we'll try this painting with you. Yeah, feel free to paint along with me. Hey, Brenda. Okay, so yeah, the photo reference is posted in the community section of my YouTube channel. So if you want to draw or paint along with me. Also, you don't have to worry about copyright or anything with this. I took the picture myself, so don't worry. You're free to paint along with me. As far as what I've been doing recently, I've been mainly focusing on my studio works. I have a very large figure painting that I've been working on for weeks now. And I've been working on neutral gray. I used to use a raw umber tone, but lately, these days, I kind of prefer this one, the neutral gray. And I just use black and white Alkyd oil paint to tone it. And again, this is double oil primed fine textured linen that I stretched myself a while ago. Before the stream ends, I'll show you the back side of the linen. And yes, the camera is going to be at an angle. I'm not going to try to put the camera right in front of the painting or have it levitated in front of me on the tripod, because it just complicates painting, and I want to focus on painting. Hey Monique. Yeah, I am talking live. I can answer your questions the best that I can live. And no, it's not pre-recorded. Yep, this is live. Hey Monique. And Samir, hello. All the names that I probably cannot pronounce. It's good to communicate with you, Monique, and communicate with everyone. No, if this was pre-recorded, it would have been edited. It would have been moving much faster than this. Hey Marshall Watkins, hello. And to draw, I'm just using just raw umber. I don't want any details, I'm just trying to go for big shapes and perspective. And I'll jump into color relatively soon. I won't be doing too much with the lines. The picture was taken under artificial light. A newer, it's called NEE, it's spelled NEEWER, brand LED light. Hey Leslie Hayes, hello. Hey Marshall, if you mean the public YouTube video last week, I wasn't able to complete one. If you mean in the online class, it was the continuation of Project 7. So we're still working on that. the self-portrait project. Hey Monique, yeah, this is the same Madeline from Project 1 in the online classes. She had really dark hair. She has a different hair color in this picture. I do use spike lavender. Yep, just as Kathy has written. Although today I'm using, in the little cup right here, I'm using Gamsol. But usually I will use spike lavender. It's just that these days I'm reserving it for very specific tasks. This is a funny question about this easel. Thank you for the question about the easel. This is a French easel that is locked into a larger easel. So this is one easel and this is another. So it is actually a portable easel and a non-portable. This is the portable easel, this part that you're seeing right here. And then back here, this is a different easel. It's a studio easel. AW, what paint thinner would you recommend that is not hazard disposable? Well, for starters, something that's healthier. Healthier, I guess, is a relative term, but one that you can breathe in without too many problems is spike lavender. Obviously, you don't want to be like inhaling it or having the odor around you too much, but spike lavender is what I would recommend. But if you're talking about flammable, they're all going to be flammable to some extent. So what you want to do is just have a metal container and just put all of I put all of my rags at the end of the day in a metal container. Just in case any open flames or whatever. So just a little more Gamsol. The more Gamsol I use, the thinner the paint will become, but it will also sink in pretty quickly. I don't want to use too much solvent. And these days I pretty much work on linen exclusively. I don't really work on any other type of surface, to be honest. Okay, so that should be enough for the linear drawing. I'll figure the rest out with, maybe we'll put some stuff in for the background, but I'll figure the rest out with color. And like I said, I will continue working on this afterwards. Linseed oil I would not use for the first layer. I would save linseed oil for later. Hey Kindred, I know I missed these streams as well. I had to take a break. It was just too much work for me to be honest. It was just too much work for me to do. But I really I did miss these streams. So hopefully Kindred and everyone that missed the streams a lot. Hopefully this schedule where I'm just doing 2 hours at a time and then working on the painting after the stream. I'm hoping that it will be much more manageable for me than before. It was just, I was doing way too much before. Okay, let's see what more questions. Yes, I'm a full-time artist. Yeah, it is a lot, Monique, yeah. But I mean, this is cool. I'm feeling relaxed, happy to be back. So now I'm going to get into color. Like I said, all of these colors are listed in the description box down below. So if you want to know exactly what colors I'm using, please check the description box of this live stream. So I'm going into, I like to use complementaries, so I'll go from the reds to the greens. I'm using Silver Brush Grand Prix size 4 and size 2 brushes. This is a size 4 extra long. And I like to start off with bristle brushes. Hey Marvin, Eric, let's see, about my studio lighting. I'm using LED lights, so not window lights. I would like to have daylight, but I'm using LED lights. I'm using newer 660, I think is the, so it's NEEWER brand. They're adjustable, it's an adjustable light. All right, moderators, you know what to do. So bristle brushes are really nice because they can hold a crap ton of paint, like a lot of paint. Thanks, Kathy. So yeah, bristle brushes are great because they hold a ton of paint. And that's what I want in the earlier stages of a painting. To be able to use a lot of paint and to work with it, to draw with color. I'm using a little bit of transparent mummy and cadmium green pale. Transparent mummy is a Rublev color. Cadmium green pale is a Winsor Newton. We're going to cadmium scarlet for a more pink. Yeah, good job, Kathy. On point. AS Cloud, let's see. Cloud Harry. So if you see my head over here, it's because my laptop is below and I have to look closely. Let's see, what's the question? Do you watch Renso? I don't watch Renso. I don't know if that's a Netflix show or I don't know. I apologize, I'm not familiar with the name. Uncle 60. Yep, we have signed our marriage certificate. So yes, I have a ring. Welcome, Uncle 60. We haven't had our big ceremony and reception yet. We had a small family gathering because you know with the times it's safer to just stay small. But yeah, we are married. I have a wife now. Very happy about that. But let's keep it let's keep it about the painting as much as possible. So I'm going in with like individual light notes and just working the main triangle for the most part. Thank you, Monique. Let's see, haven't started portrait painting. Any tips about the things I should learn before? Definitely drawing. Portrait drawing is one of the best ways to learn portrait painting, but I would still also suggest experimenting with painting. You know, it's important to study drawing, yes, but don't detach from the art of painting as well. Everything in moderation, basically. Okay, so I'm gonna be using a lot of different colors, one of which is Dioxazine Purple. So I use it to neutralize the oranges. So if it starts to get too orangey, as you're seeing there, I can neutralize with purple. I like to use Cerulean Blue. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of questions about these colors. The best thing I can really say is to be as intuitive as possible with these colors. I do explain them much more to my online students. Again, this isn't meant to be a lesson. This is just a virtual painting session. First one in a long time. So I'm going to have a dark brush and a light brush now. Hey, Sagar. Thanks for all the congratulations. Thanks, Ispita Dutoroy. So I'm using Viridian, Cadmium Scarlet together. A little bit of Cerulean Blue. And I'm just going for color shapes right now. No medium. So the neutral gray tone is Alla Incaminati. So if you look up Studio Incaminati, they use a similar neutral gray tone like this. Actually, a lot of artists use neutral gray. It just helps to make your lights look like lights, your darks look like darks, and it's a nice kind of cooler tone to build your warmer skin tones on. Now all the details for the eyes and stuff I'm not going to get into just yet. I'm just working with big masses. Hey Kathy, Renzo is another YouTube painter. Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know. I didn't know who that is. Alright, so I'm using nickel titanium yellow in place of lead tin yellow. Lead tin yellow is a really popular yellow to use, but I lately, so I experimented a lot with lead. So lead white, lead tin yellow. I had orange molybdite, which is a lead orange. I had chrome yellow, which is a lead yellow. I had lead all over the place before. And I really wanted to experiment with it and then use the alternatives and then compare them. So from my comparisons, I don't find that I need lead as much anymore. I have a Flake white replacement from Gamblin. It's my go-to white that I use. It's the only one I use. All of the white that you're seeing here is Gamblin Flake white replacement. I don't use any other white. And again, nickel titanium yellow is a substitute for lead tin yellow. And of course, cadmium orange and cadmium yellow are substitutes for chrome yellow and orange molybdate, which are lead yellows. AW, I don't have a system of how I approach the start of a painting. I just go all around sometimes, or other times I'll just go right with the darks. Now it's different when I'm teaching the online classes. With the online classes, it's structured, as you know. You know how it is with the online classes. The way you see me paint in the online classes is not exactly how I paint. This is closer to how I paint. It's almost impossible really to explain but it's just kind of feeling out the shapes. I'd be lying to you if I told you it was a step by step. I'm just going all around and just exploring. Now, eyes, nose, and mouth, those are just, think of them as just details at this point. So I'm barely putting anything in for that, just the structures around it. Pretty soon I'm gonna get a different brush out for the hair. And obviously when there's too much glare, when there's a lot of paint, there can be a lot of glare, so that's when I'll use a fan brush. It also just helps to smoothen out the paint. This is not a silver brush, this is a Robert Simmons. It's a size 4 Eggbert. So I'm using Dioxazine Purple, Transparent Mummy, Bone Black for the hair. Let's see, so Kathy, yes, I will do this. I will do most of this actually a la prima. I will continue working on this after the stream ends, and one more layer to finish it on Wednesday. A little more Cadmium Scarlet. And no medium. I'll give you a little word of advice though, for those of you that are interested in technique. I usually put my paints out in the morning and just work on the, just keep working throughout the entire day. Today I taught a lesson in the morning for my online students and had to clean off the palette. So today is an exception to what I'm going to tell you, but usually in the end of the day, when I clean off the palette, I put a little bit of linseed oil on the palette, and then I rub the linseed oil with the cloth, Viva paper towel cloth. And when you put the linseed oil overnight, the next day your palette is like really nicely, the colors just kind of flow really nicely on the palette without putting too much extra, oil into your paints themselves. Hey Steve, you're asking Kathy about the palette. This is just a wooden palette. It's a standard wooden palette. The brand of the palette is Turtlewood palettes. This is Turtlewood palettes. These are actually handmade palettes that the guy sells, the owner of Turtlewood palettes. This is the smallest of the, so if you just do a quick Google search, Turtlewood palettes, it should show up fairly quickly. Let's see. Oh no, it's Turtlewood palette. It's not a New Wave palette, it's a Turtlewood brand. Not the type of wood, it's not turtle wood. It's not made out of turtles. Don't worry, it's not made out of turtles. I love turtles. It's the brand. The brand name is Turtlewood. Hey Marshall, have you ever used poly resins? No. For a surface of a palette? Nah. Nope. I haven't. Yep. Definitely, Steve. Check out Turtlewood palettes. New Wave brand is another really good one for palettes. New Wave. They're a little less expensive than Turtlewood. They make really good palettes as well, but I really like this Turtlewood palette, and I've just been using it for a while now. I never really did like working on the on that glass, the little tiny glass palette that you saw here. I did not like it. It wasn't big enough either for these mixtures. Hey Cole, can I attempt this water mixable oils? Yeah, you can. Certainly. It just will take longer to dry. Just know that it will take longer to dry. But you can do this with water mixables. Take care, Kindred. I'm going to use a little bit of Terre Verte or Terre Verte, Viridian, raw Umber. Now, I always suggest to work from life as much as possible. In fact, I'm doing a big studio painting of this model, of a huge figure painting of her from life, strictly from life. Think of photo references as a last resort, as a very last resort. But there are always mirrors. You know, one of the projects I have with my students is to use a mirror. As some of you may know, my last YouTube video that I uploaded before this stream was a self-portrait, a start of a self-portrait, but I just had way too much to do studio painting wise. I couldn't continue it, at least for now. Let's see, another question from the audience. Which one is cheaper, Winsor Newton or Gamblin? They are about the same. I have Winsor Newtons, I have Gamblins, I have Old Hollands, and I have Rublevs, and I have a lot of different brands here. As long as they're artist grade, they're good. There are exceptions, of course, but they are about the same if you're talking about costs. And quality, they are pretty good. They're about the same. Winsor Newton has some colors though that other brands don't have that I know of. Cadmium Green Pale is one of my favorite greens to use these days. In it, I can't find Cadmium Green Pale without zinc in any other brand. A little bit of burnt sienna and transparent mummy. Hey Kyle, if you don't paint every day, how do you store paint in such a big on such a big palette? If you want to save paint, the best thing to do is just take it off your palette completely and then put it in a plastic container. or some kind of container, and store it in the freezer. But my suggestion is to just leave it. Just pick a color palette that you like to use, not just for portrait, but for everything, and just leave it on the palette. Just because it becomes muscle memory, so I prefer to just not really have to think about what colors I'm using when I mix. It's just rapid. The rapidity is what I want in my mixtures. There are very few colors that I really have to plan to use, like Phthalo. I have Phthalo Turquoise and I have Phthalo Green. I have to plan to use those colors. I won't just rush in and use them because of their tinting strength. So Vasen Marv, sorry, I cannot pronounce your name. Do you sell paintings online? I do. I sell on Etsy for now, just Etsy. I will use other platforms at some point in the future. This one will hopefully be sold on Wednesday when it's finished. I wasn't going to mention that yet, but this painting will be available. Now, clearly, the way it looks now, I don't think anyone would be interested in, but once I continue to develop it. Let's see. Clove oil. Okay, so David Kim, that's a good suggestion as well. You can use clove oil. I'm gonna switch brushes really quick for the flowers. So yes, you can use clove oil. The only problem is clove oil. It is the slowest dryer I've ever met. Clove oil. Safflower oil is another one that's extremely slow drying. You just want to make sure that you don't get that in your painting by accident when you start it. If you accidentally get that in your painting, you're going to have a really slow drying first layer. This right here, I know that the screen is a little blurry, but this one is my dirty white. It's the used white. So if I need to use a lot of white and I don't, if it's not in the skin tones and it's somewhere kind of where it's just going to be a lot of white, I just use this one. So when I'm done painting for the day, I'll take the white from here and just put it right over here. Same thing if I'm scraping all the paint, combine it together at the end of the day, and I just put it over here. This is just kind of my scrap pile. Oh, good one. Mixing paints with cooking oil. Yes, I've done that before. Never again. Do not suggest anyone do that. Just don't. Just use linseed oil or walnut oil, and you'll be good. Good one. Good one. A little bit of transparent mummy. Dioxazine purple. Yep, that is correct, Kathy. Yes, and that will be a gallery painting. At least I hope. If you're interested in seeing my studio works, please check out Instagram. I have it linked in my description, but I don't quite share as often anymore on Instagram. So really the best way to see what I'm doing is on Patreon. Students, if you want to see the studio works that are currently in progress, but eventually they'll be posted to Instagram and such. I don't really post unfinished works to Instagram as much anymore. So more Dioxazine Purple, do some Cadmium Scarlet. Thanks, Emma. Like I said, I don't really have a set of instructions in my head or whatever, or a checklist like skin tone done, hair done, and you know, all that. I'm just painting. Mainly just working with colored shapes. Shapes of color. Notice that I use the gray, however, a lot. I use the gray to stand in for things. And there's kind of like a greenish tone back here, but I think I'll just omit that for now. By the way the schedule is going to be, at least the way I think it's going to be, everyone. Okay, so when I start a painting, so today I'm starting on a Saturday. I will be finishing the painting on a Wednesday. So the next stream will be Wednesday. It will be 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. When I start a painting, I start it earlier in the day. When I am completing a painting, and I'm just speaking of the streams, with the streams. When I complete a painting, it will be in the evening. And once the stream ends, I will continue working on this, like I said, throughout the day, but I will post some progress images. I'll actually just create like an update video for Patreon. We call it the behind the scenes video. So behind the scenes today, everyone on Patreon, you will see what this looks like by the end of today. Most of the work will be done today on this painting. Yeah, I said, yeah, 5 o'clock on Wednesday is when I plan to be back and finish this painting. And hopefully have it for sale too. One color I really like to use, now that I think about it, I use it a lot, is Cerulean Blue. I'm using it for the highlight above the lip there. Yep, I am in Maryland. Any Marylanders here? And yes, this is live. Everyone that's tuning in and is wondering, is this live? Yep, it's live. I am here. I missed these painting sessions. I missed the opportunity to meet new artists online. Hey Grace, oh, you go to Micah. Awesome. My friend teaches there. Actually, two of my friends teach there. One of my friends is named Karen Warshall. She's a teacher at Micah. My other friend Paulden, who's my mentor. Paulden teaches at Micah. At least I think they still do. I haven't seen them since the pandemic, but I believe they still teach there. VK? Okay, I will call you VK. Oh wait, you're talking to Kathy. Alright. Alright, let's get to... This is going to be a little bit of Cadmium Scarlet mixed into the skin tones. Notice how much space I'm using up on the palette, and you're not even seeing the entire palette. There's still some of the palette left to the right side that's off camera. A little bit of alizarin. One thing I found out from one of my students the other day is that cadmium oil paints have a certain smell to them. And I didn't even know. I mean, I've been using them for years. I never really noticed there was a smell to them. I thought it was just all oil paints that had a particular smell. The palette, the size of the palette, I'll tell you right now. I don't really know either. I have a ruler here. I will measure it for you. 20 inches, it appears to be 20 inches long. About 18 inches. Whoops, I got some green on it. About 18 inches wide. So it's 18 by 20. What is the secret of drawing in paint? Very good question. And if I knew what that was, I would tell you. I'd say the secret is just mass. In my opinion, just working with mass. Mass is just a shape. It's just a crude word for shape of color. And just moving those shapes around. I think that's what your question means. What do you mean drawing with paint? It just means working with large masses. Now my students, I start them off linearly, working with lines, because it's just easier. So the first project that I recommend my students do is, it's called Project 2. It involves a very careful transfer drawing, and it's really the only project that I use a very involved transferring process, that's the easiest way to get something, you know, that looks proportional. But I move my students really quickly. I move them into working with masses. Hey Monique, do you find the tinting strength of Cerulean Blue generally weak? It is a middle. It's not too weak, but it's I don't find it to be too weak. It's like somewhere in the middle. It's definitely not a phthalo for that. In that matter, it's not like a phthalo, but it's I'd say it's in the middle in terms of tinting strength. Hey Emma, which names of colors that I would look? Please check the description box of the video for the colors. I'm using Indian Yellow. Sorry, I'm using Indian Yellow, which is a nice weak tinter. Monique was asking about the tinting strength. Some of them are really strong tinters. Others are weaker, better for subtleties. Let's see. Also, if I missed any questions, I apologize. I'm gonna scroll on the camera. Let's use my other hand. So if I missed any questions, I apologize. You need to replace the tube of Cerulean Blue. Monique, my Cerulean Blue is a Gamblin. Gamblin Cerulean Blue. I find that I use Viridian a lot. So right now, this tone here is Viridian, Viridian Transparent Mummy Raw Sienna. This is of course a shadow tone. I'm gonna quickly sketch something in for her neck. Now, Flake White replacement from Gamblin is very, it's a very thick paint. It's a very thick color. Very opaque, which I like. So there's a ton of it that goes into this. And it dries at a pretty reasonable amount of time. Oh yeah, no problem, Monique. Marshall, you find that Cerulean Blue has an undertone of green. All brands are a little different. They're the same pigment, but sometimes they act a little different. Oh yeah, Williamsburg is one of my favorite brands. So you have Williamsburg Cerulean Blue. That's nice. My My Cobalt Blue is Williamsburg. Hey Michael, what do you think of oil primed linen pads for starting out? That's a good question. I'm glad you liked the live stream. You can use oil primed linen pads. I like to use oil primed linen and just stretch it. I buy them already primed. The brand I have is Classen's oil primed linen. You know, in fact, Michael, good question. I should probably show you the backside of the canvas. So now you can see I stretched it myself, so you can see some parts that tear on the back, but in any case, all of this is going to be framed anyway. But now you're seeing the backside of it. I don't know if you can see close up the texture. It's a really nice texture. Yep, no problem. AVR. Winsor, Newton, Gamblin, Williamsburg are expensive because the shipping. Oh, okay. Yeah. In general, I've heard that about different localities that the brands can be more expensive. I mean, the good news is they last a pretty long time, I'd say. The oil paints. These brands tend not to dry out in their tubes for the most part. VR, do I do a floating frame? I'd usually just use, I mean, when I frame it, I'm hoping that this painting does sell, so when it's sold, it's up to the buyer to frame. But I like to just use ready open frames that I get from like Michael's or something. Local art stores sell ready-made frames too sometimes. Have you already done a painting of elephant scenery that's like a bluish theme? What color would you suggest for a frame? For a bluish, I like to go with contrast. I mean, if it's bluish, then maybe something like towards the orangey, like maybe like a dark copper color, maybe. The frames are pretty subjective though, for the most part. Hey Monique. Oh, the floating frame. A floating frame could work on that painting, that self-portrait of mine that you bought. Since it's a pretty thick stretcher, I think you can use a floating frame. But I just usually don't use floating frames too much. Let's see. Hey Austin, sorry to say, just a question of your work, and almost of all YouTubers. It's fantastic, but it's not as good as artworks from masters. They're just a little. Well, it depends on what the painting and what stage the painting is in. This is still like in its infancy, and you won't see the entire process of this painting. I will work on it afterwards. I mean, the old masters had their way of doing things, and there's a great deal to learn from it, but I'm quoting someone almost verbatim, it would be a little bit egotistic or a little bit unrealistic to think that suddenly we can come along and with very little knowledge and do better. So the best thing to do is to take the most that we can from them and bring it into a more modern, contemporary field of view. Now I'm just kind of paraphrasing Nelson Shanks, who is my superhero when it comes to painting. You know, if the old masters had the chemistry that we have today, I guarantee you some of them would use the colors that we have. You know, they had to consult with chemists to get the colors that they needed. You know, can you imagine today if we had to reach out to our local chemist friend for tubes of paint? Luckily, we have, you know, the modern chemistry to relate to or to use. All right, so we're at 1:08 p.m. Like I said, the streams will be at the most 2 hours. So we've got about 52 minutes left. And then those of you on Patreon, I will update you on what this painting will look like by the end of the day. And for everyone else on YouTube, you will see what this painting will look like on Wednesday. Like I said, I usually don't think too heavily on what colors I use, but two of them that are very important to think about are phthalos. So I have Phthalo Turquoise, and I'm gonna mix it. Whoops, it's off camera, but maybe you can see it. I'm almost out of room on the palette, so right here. So Phthalo Turquoise and white. And I'm going to use a little bit of Cadmium Yellow Pale. And like I said, everyone, this is just the painting in its infancy. This is like an embryo of a painting. This is not even a slight amount finished, not even close. Though the word finish is relative, I will not make this look photographic. That's just not the way I like paintings to look. My own paintings, that is. So what you will see is more of a, I guess, a painting through interpretation type of work of art, not a photocopy. Alright, so now I've gone beyond the mixing space, so I apologize you won't be able to see some of the mixtures. Unless I rotate this. Let's see if I can rotate it. No, I can't. Nope, I can't really zoom with that webcam, so. Just know that I am mixing a little bit off the camera. Well, you can at least see this mixture. Oh yeah, the camera makes it look different. Hey Siddhi Gupta. That is a good thing to note. The camera does make... So this camera, right, the webcam, it looks different than the colors that you're seeing here. This is true. So that is something to take note of. Also, the camera is at an angle with respect to, or the camera is at an angle with respect to the painting, or vice versa. It's actually the same thing, but in any case, I need it to be at an angle because I don't want to be looking over or having this at an angle. That would make painting much more difficult for me. And when you're seeing things on video, it's all distorted anyway. It's the best thing to do is to go to museums, the ones that are still open right now, and see the paintings close up. But back to more technical terms, I am again using all bristle brushes. This is Silver Brush. These are Silver Brush Grand Prix size 4 filberts. I prefer to use filberts. Hey Bhushan, Affair, thank you for your kind words from India. Hey Marshall, you prefer angled and dagger brushes. Awesome. I learned from my teachers in Philadelphia. I went to Studio Incaminati for about a year. I wish I was there longer, but I was only there for a year. But in any case, they all used filberts. That's where I first really was introduced to different brushes. They used filberts, but sometimes flats. Yeah, filberts are pretty awesome. But I also really like Eggberts. Eggbert brushes. Eggberts are my favorite next to filberts. This is a size 4 Eggbert. An Eggbert is just a really long filbert. Here, I'll show you the difference. You see the difference? They're both 4s. The Eggbert is a longer one. How many filbert brush sizes do I have? I have size 6, 4, and 2. And for finishing touches, I use sables. I'm not going to get to finishing touches today, but I use sables, also silver brand. So I like to use silver brush and Robert Simmons. Why do I like Eggberts? Because they're extremely long filberts. I wish I had a better explanation, but it's just that they're extremely long filberts. The longer the filbert, for me, I guess the further away I can be from the painting, and the more paint I can load onto the brush. The only brush that I really don't like very much is a bright brush. Because to me, a bright brush is like it's like if you get a filbert and you just cut part of the brush off. That's what a bright seems like to me. But to each their own. You can do fantastic things with all brights. You can do fantastic things with all filberts or all rounds. So it's just whatever you feel that you enjoy the most. Take care, VK. Her hair is way more red than what you're seeing in the picture. So I'm going to paint it as I remember it. AVK, on Wednesday it will be a different time. It'll be 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be later. which means it'll be probably morning time for you, I think. Or it'll be really late. I don't know. I can't math right now. All right, let's try to get something down through the background tones. I think I will use the same brush that I used for the blue here. Maybe I will paint in a little bit more of the shirt. Like I said, I won't do that much for the face right now. I just want to get the big picture as roughly established as I can. So what's nice is when the paint sets in for like a couple hours. If you're using regular oil paints, if you're using alkyds, it'll dry on you in a couple hours. But if you're using regular, it settles in quite nicely, and it gets kind of like a, I don't know what the word is, the adjective, but it's easier to blend after it's been sitting for a couple hours. I'll work into this later on today. So question from the audience, why don't I paint the way that you are suggesting? When it comes to techniques, if you stick to one process all the time, forever and ever, painting can get kind of boring, at least in my opinion. It depends on, it depends from painter to painter, right? But to me, I want things to be more organic, to be more free-flowing, to be more energetic. I don't like to start with, typically I don't like to start with a big blob of color all the time like I did in that video that you're talking about. Just because it kind of complicates drawing a little bit. From a technical standpoint, to the contrary of what I've been saying, I do like having some kind of, lines, some kind of outlines before just going right into color. But that also varies a lot. I mean, I'm more focused on the fundamentals than I am on any one technique. Thanks for the emojis. Alright, let's go for that. It's like a gray. I want to say it's like a grayed down. It's like a grayed down purple blue. So I'm using Phthalo Turquoise and black and a little bit of, let's say, Cadmium Green Pale. Nah, that's a little too blue. Now Transparent Mummy. And that's getting there. It has to be a little darker than the skin tone, of course. But it's a little confusing when it comes to the value of the shirt. I want to say that the shirt is darker, a little darker. Thanks, Monique. Hey, Lona. Louie, where am I from? I am from Beltsville, Maryland. I am from Maryland. And we've got a super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. That says thanks for being you. Thank you so much, Kathy, for the super chat. Hooray! I can't really change the camera angles because they're all fixed. I can't move the camera angles, but thank you so much for the super chat. It helps me so much. Thank you so much. Let's all say thank you to Kathy for the super chat. Now it's a little too blue. That's a little too close to this hue. So I'm gonna put some. I'm gonna have to change it with purple. Maybe purple and raw sienna. Again, thank you so much, Kathy. Everyone, please say thank you to Kathy for the super chat. Super chat again, everyone, is a way to support your favorite creators on YouTube when they are doing live streams. I'm glad you like the camera setup, Sonali. In terms of the colors, please see the description of this video's description box for the list of colors. There's quite a number of colors that went into this. Now, believe it or not, that blue color that you're seeing right here that I'm trying to paint is actually this. This right here that you're seeing. Notice there's like a canvas resting back here. That's how distorted color can be. I'm actually looking at this and trying to paint the shadow color of this, and I'm not even looking at the photo reference. And this is actually just cotton. I'm using cotton canvas. So let's move you over here. This is just cotton canvas that's blocking out a window so I don't get too much reflection. So that's what she's standing near. I'm using Sonali. I'm using a Canon Rebel T7i for this, and I'm just using a Logitech webcam for this, the palette shot. Unfortunately, I can't have two DSLRs hooked up to my computer. It would be just too much for the computer to handle. Now let's put in that dark blue that fits up there. Let's go with ultramarine. Ultramarine black. I'm glad you like the background color, Monique. So the point of having 20-something colors on the palette is to paint hues, to be able to paint different hues. And you can do so much in the neutrals and in the browns. You know, much more variety to your color than if you had a more limited palette. Yes, you can paint skin tones with 4 colors, but once you go beyond that, there's so much more that can be done. Okay, all right, so now we've got a kind of a light. You know what, this right here, the light that you're seeing in the picture right here is the back side of my huge canvas that she's painting. This is actually a mirror behind her. That's the reflection over here of the back of her head, and I'll paint that in too. So that's actually a mirror. Hi, Christina. Welcome to the live painting session. Put in a little bit more cerulean. Of course, it gets darker over here. And with Dioxazine Purple, you can get a lot of nice browns, a lot of nice neutrals. Hey, Dua, thank you. Remember, everyone, the stream will go till about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is when the stream ends. But while we're here, please feel free to ask me any art-related questions on your mind. Again, this is not meant to be a lesson by any means. This is just a painting session. Gonna thin out the paint a little bit. And how about we just cover right up until the reflection? I'm gonna use the linen to be the reflection for now, and then we'll get back to the skin tones. A little bit more Gamsol. This is going to sink in by later today. I'm purposefully painting it thick. That's the reflection. The back of her head. All right, and I'm just going to let that be for now. And we'll get right back to the skin tones. Starting with the lightest lights. I'm going to start to key the lights now. Hey Liz Woods, where do I get my art supplies from? Mainly Jerry's Artorama. If you are in the US, I am not sponsored by anyone, so Again, this isn't paid programming or anything. Jerry's Artorama. Of course, our hair curves in a little more there. And there's a shadow. Actually, let me paint that shadow first. Earlier this morning in the lesson, actually, everyone you may recall, everyone that's in the online class, you will recall I was explaining a little bit more in depth on how I do this step right here. But for now, I'm just going to try to fly through it. Oh, you get your paints from there too? Awesome. And Monique, looks like YouTube tried to block that, but that is actually the name of the store. Now, again, it's only been an hour, 36 minutes. The painting is in its infancy. And the painting will start to take form later today, and then you will see it be completed on Wednesday. But most of the work will be done today. Hey Liz, it's only going to be another 30, not even 30, it's going to be another 24 minutes till the stream ends. So this is a 2-hour stream today. But you will be able to see this footage, Liz, no worries. You'll be able to see the footage as a pre-recorded video on YouTube once it's done processing on YouTube. Let's get a little more Cadmium Scarlet. Now, I oftentimes ask myself, is what I'm painting an effect of the camera, or is it something that I would truly see in nature? Always ask yourself that. You know, the camera is compressing the daylights out of the value range in her hair, so I'm going to start to paint in some more of the warmth in her hair. And her hair is very long. There's portions of the hair that go all the way down towards her stomach. And again, the photo reference is on, it's posted in the community section. Hey Liz, I'm painting a friend of mine named Madeline. She's a local model. I'm not running any life painting sessions or portrait painting sessions still because of the pandemic, so whenever I have a model, I will only be painting by myself, so it's just the model and I and my wife, of course, and she draws too. Alright, so this may look very light to you, but that's actually glare. I don't want the value to be very, very light. Let's try to reduce some of the glare. And this also helps to flatten out the paint film. It's just a fan brush. This is a this is a Monarch Winsor Newton. It's a mongoose, a synthetic mongoose brush. And I just dry brush, dry clean it, so no solvent or anything. And this just helps to bring down the texture. Hey Monique, will you continue to do the Patreon tiers after the pandemic, or do you have to move to Baltimore? Well, I mean, if you'd like to move to the area, sure. I'd love to paint with you. I will continue. Yes, I will continue the online classes. You know, I had the online classes before the pandemic. I had YouTube before the pandemic, so I will continue. Arjat, what's up, buddy? I missed you too, buddy. I missed everyone here. Yeah, Kathy's a mod. So Harjat, the mod system has changed. It's only the online students in the live stream tier that I have as mods. No hard feelings though. You helped me out so much before, Harjat. It's just this is what we agreed upon. Thanks for stopping by, Harjat. And Harjat, the picture is posted on the community section of YouTube if you'd like to draw along with me or paint along with me. Alright, so everyone, it's approaching that time. We have 18 minutes. So Harjat, I will only be streaming 2 hours at a time. So I don't overwork myself, as you know. So we've got 18 minutes. Again, please feel free to ask me any art-related questions. If anyone has any questions in the online classes or my teaching or anything like that, feel free to ask me. No, the live stream tier is it's the 20 a month. That's the one where you can watch my lessons every Monday and Wednesday. Also, you have access to all of the pre-recorded lessons in the online class. Harjat and everyone wondering. I have been doing live streams for my online classes this entire time. I took a 2-week break. I took a 2-week break for the holidays, but I do stream consistently for my online classes. But I move much more slow paced with the online classes. I don't really explain stuff as much when I'm painting here during the painting sessions, because the aim is to get a lot done as much as I can. A little bit of yellow ochre, raw sienna. And we're just now getting into the middle stages. So the painting is now out of its infancy stage and now getting into more of its adolescent stage, where all of the growth and development happens, as you know. Gotta make sure to keep those edges in check. Let's see. Hey RVXXVX, hoping that I can absorb his talent by watching. Oh, thank you for your kind words. Hey George's Portrait Art, how do you find your Patreon page? One of my moderators, can you please put the link? If you don't mind, we're gonna have that posted for you in a second. For everyone watching as a pre-recorded video, just check out patreon.com/upariartist. If you just type patreon.com/upariartist, or even if you type in Upari Artist Patreon, it should come up on a Google search. Also on Patreon today, you will be updated on the, by the end of the day, you'll be updated on this painting. Yep, and there is the link right there to my Patreon. So let me type it. I'm gonna copy and paste it. Look over here. Oh, there it is. Okay, Ingrid beat me to it. Yeah, there's the one. Hey, Harjot, you're on. Oh, awesome. Yeah, we've taken a break from that. So what I'm trying to do is work my way up towards the more complex objects in the painting, the smaller shapes. You know, it's eye socket shape. It's the shape of the features before getting into the details. But yeah, Harjot, you made it a long way in that TV show. Now, a lot of likeness comes in with the big shapes, not so much the detail. So that's what I'm aiming for. I'm aiming for the big shapes. And I have a lot of brushes out, all bristle. The live stream tier on Patreon, this morning we were talking about points of expression. This is one of them, as you may recall. Oh yeah, one-on-one is full. For those of you that are wondering about the Zoom one-on-one is full, but if you would like to hang out with me on Zoom, there is the weekly group Zoom. We have like, I think 4 of us there. Each week it is Tuesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Tuesdays, it's group Zoom, it's weekly. It's more like office hours in a university setting where we can just hang out and talk about art. Or you can ask me questions in your class projects. And so I will be doing more work to this painting. Again, everyone, after the stream ends, I will be working on this for the rest of the workday. Maybe not the whole day, but for a couple hours before returning back to my studio work. Those of you on Patreon, I'll update you. Everyone else on YouTube, again, you'll see on Wednesday. Yeah, Harjo, I still keep doing the streams for the online lessons. I've been doing them all along, twice a week. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, Tuesday is group Zoom. So anyone that's watching this in the future that would like to meet me on Zoom or paint with me or hang out with us on Zoom, camera to camera, please check out the Zoom group tutoring tier on Patreon. It also gets you access to everything in the online classes. Yeah, definitely if you're interested in Zoom. I'll be on Zoom again this Tuesday, 12 p.m. And it's camera to camera. So you can use your smartphones. And also that tier gets you access to all of the online class content, including the live streams. So you can definitely benefit from all of the tiers. The one-on-one is full at the moment, but the group Zoom is available. A little more Cadmium Scarlet. I'm going to use Nickel Titanium Yellow, Cadmium Yellow Pale, whole bunch of paint. And I'm always asking myself, is this an effect that I'm seeing from the picture? Or is it something that I know would exist in nature? And I know that this would be way more subtle in nature, so I'm trying to not paint it as contrasted as you're seeing in the photo reference. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. AW, definitely. You'll see the update of this as the behind the scenes video today. So after this stream ends, I'll take a quick break and then I'll return to it and keep working on it. Now I definitely have to push a little more pink right there. Same brush, more Cadmium Scarlet. Pinky orangey towards the violet. Hey Julie, welcome back. Great to have you back. Although the stream will be ending in 3 minutes, this will be available as a pre-recorded video for everyone on YouTube. Also, I'll be back on Wednesday at 5, and that will be the completion of this painting. A little bit of the nickel titanium yellow, actually not a little, a lot of it. Pretty much run out of white, so I'm gonna have to get some more. But we are on our last minute, so I will just reload the white, and then that would be about it for today. All right, so I'm gonna put the brushes down, reload this, and then we can talk for a minute before I sign out. Everyone that's watching this live, please feel free to ask me any art questions. Alright, so now this is ready for me to keep working on later today. Again, everyone on Patreon, I will update you on what this painting will look like by the end of today. Everyone else, this painting will be completed on Wednesday, and with any luck, we'll have this painting also for special sale that day. I'm going to quickly go ahead and look at the comments, see if there's any questions. What size round brushes do you use? I haven't been using rounds too much except for sables. So I have a size 3 pure red sable, silver brush sables. It's a size 3. So as you can see, a size 3 sable is not the same as a size 3 filbert. Same brand, but it's a different different sizing for that. Hey Eve. Okay. Sure thing, Eve. Let's see, I'm gonna look for some more questions. Yeah, I'm glad that you were able to join, Julie, and we'll be back Wednesday at 5. Yep. Let's see if there's any more questions. I'm glad that you came also, Monique, that you came by, you stopped by. I'm glad you liked the video, Albert. And again, thank you so much to all my moderators in the live stream tier. So Kathy, Ingrid, and Brenda, again, thank you for all your help. Hey, Dua. Okay, thank you for your kind words, Dua. Alright, so thank you so much, everyone. Again, on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will return and we will finish this painting up. It will be 1 hour to 2 hours max, again, 2 hours max for the painting time, and hopefully we'll have this painting available for special sale. Again, I wish you all the very best in all of your artwork. Again, thank you so much for your super chat, Kathy. Again, thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you on the next one.